All right, hey guys. So today we're going to go through how to do the first task for tourism. I know a few of you were away, and a few of you might not get what exactly you have to do and how to set it out. So hopefully this video will help with that. Um, so first assignment, this is assessment type one, the case study. So we're calling it the travel package assignment. The draft is due on week 10 Friday, and the final will be due the following week. Basically, you are required to produce a travel package for a mock client, which will include the following. So, an initial interview with that client. You'll need to research some accommodation and the travel plans, research of local natural and man-made sites, travel documents including itinerary, visa, country-specific information, and you also need to be considerate of a budget. There's the rubric there, but don't stress too much about it because it's a pretty straightforward assignment. So how you want it to look is you'll have your 5 different parts. So you'll start with your part 1, which is an interview. Now, for those of you who weren't in class, you can either pair up with someone in our class, you can go home, interview your parents, brother, sister, anybody, or you can completely make it up. But in that interview, you need to determine the location where they are going to go, the type of tourist, and that's where you want to use the language that we learned when we were looking at Plock's model of tourists. So are they allocentric, psychocentric, or mid-centric tourists? And from that, then you want to determine what activities they would want to do on their holiday, and also you want to find out whether they have any previous travel information. Did they fly with certain companies? Did they stay in certain chained hotels, and what activities they did? So that would be part 1. Part 2 will be the research of accommodation and travel. So here you want to be providing multiple options in terms of hotels and flight companies. You want to be considerate of what they're doing there as well in relation to the distance from the hotel to those activities. So, for example, if you're looking at, sending someone to Los Angeles and they want to go to Disneyland, how far away is that accommodation from Disneyland? Is it too far to the point where it's not worth going to see Disneyland? Then part 3 will be that research of local activities. So that's where you need to include both natural and man-made activities. You need to list what they could potentially do, and why they might choose to do it. Also, that's where you would need to include the cost of that activity. And then part 4 is just your travel documents needed and destination information. So that's stuff like your visa, passports, and then that's where you go to smarttraveler.com and you just put the country destination in. Obviously, right now with a lot of the COVID-19 stuff that's going on, that's going to be the big warning of don't travel. But if you scroll down the page, you actually see that there's a whole heap of information about safety, like precautions in terms of pickpocketing and stuff like that. And then part 5 is just your complete itinerary and budget. And this is an example of what you want your budget to look like. So this is what I showed in class the other day. And that's what I did for my trip to Europe. So, I had where I was departing, the date I was departing, and where I was arriving, how much that cost of travel was going to be, where I was staying, and then the cost of that accommodation for each place I was staying. So obviously, if you're only going to one destination for 2 weeks, then you only need to do 1 square. If you're going to 3 destinations in those 2 weeks, then you obviously need to have more boxes. And obviously, you'll need to consider the cost to get between those destinations. Your word limit is a maximum of 1,500 words, but that doesn't include the interview because obviously that might take up a large chunk of your word count. So yeah, if you have any questions, make sure you throw it onto the Teams drive and I'll answer them as soon as possible because I'll get the email notification for that. Yeah, make sure you like and subscribe.